Hello. I think I'm with you. We're supposed to have 13 people signed up tonight. So, and you know the Georgia, not the Georgia, but the National Federation for the convention. I think, Stephen, you know about that. It's going to be held this year in Roswell, Georgia.
I did hear that.
Are y'all aware of that?
Yeah, that sounds like a big deal. Yeah.
Oh, it is a big deal. Lucinda's working on that now and working with them. Hey, Kathy, how are you? Well, I don't want to start too early and other people miss hearing your poems. We got one more minute. Let me tell you, I really appreciate you all doing this and signing up. I hope you will for every open mic. How long have you been doing open mic, Stephen?
Well, because of the pandemic, I'm kind of an old hand at it. You know, everything's on Zoom since the pandemic.
Right.
Yeah, so I'm not unfamiliar with it.
Well, I'm having to stay on Zoom for a while, but I'm hoping I can get to the convention. Hello, Kathy. We were just talking about the Natural Federation. We're having Roswell as the host city this year for the convention. Have you heard about that already?
Yes, I read it in the newsletter.
Right. We're getting very excited from that.
I lived there about 30 years, but I haven't been there in about 10. You don't know the place now.
Oh, I know. I can remember years ago, Daddy used to say that Marietta and all of that area would finally be an extension of Atlanta. And I've loved to see that happen.
Yeah, we moved to that area in 79. So it has changed a lot.
Right. Now, where do you live now?
I live in Greensboro, Georgia.
Greensboro, Kathy, in Greensboro.
That's halfway between Atlanta and Augusta.
Okay. I'm glad you're with us tonight. Daniel, I've never met you before either. Is this your, how many times have you been on GPS open mics?
One time a while ago. Hello from the other side of the pond.
You live outside of where?
In Wales in the UK, so across the pond.
Okay. Are you in New England?
Wales, same sort of thing, yeah, the UK. Yeah.
I didn't know you could get on from there. That is exciting.
Yeah.
Well, we're glad to have you tonight.
Delightful to be here. Thank you for having me.
All right, who was on first this evening? Walker, were you or Stephen? Who was on first to read tonight?
Stephen, I think.
Okay, Stephen, I'm going to put you as number 1.
Okay.
Walker, you as number 2 to read. Kathy, you're number 3 to read.
Okay.
Well, I guess I need to get in there somewhere. I'll put me down as number 5. That'll break it up. Okay, Stephen, what do you have for us tonight?
Okay. I'm going to put my new poetry book link in the chat. And these are 2 poems from a book that's coming out in December called At Home with the Dreamlike Earth. And this is what the cover looks like.
Oh, pretty.
Oh, that's what, and the title is At Home with the
Dreamlike Earth.
Dreamlike Earth.
Right.
That sounds lovely.
And this is the first poem. Lines written under the arms of a live oak. When the world spins in chaos, I can sit on a garden bench I built from 2x4s and backed into a line of overgrown azaleas by the grave of a favorite cat, Piglet's bench, and stare at the hard limbs of an oak rising implacable like the sun. And I'm without problems significant under its centuries. If I could talk to the tree, it would listen like it listens to the red-bellied woodpecker's call, to the wind rustling the long ovals of its leaves. And if it spoke in its stillness, the decibels stretched so far they're unheard. I decide it does speak this way, speak its message of morning calm, while it listens like I listen to the call of a red-bellied woodpecker, to the wind rustling the long ovals of its leaves.
Lovely. Beautiful.
Thank you.
Nice.
Right. I like what you were saying about if a tree could listen or if a tree could speak, and that it speaks and it gives you a calmness in the morning. I think that is beautiful the way, I imagine all of your poems on Dream Earth that you're talking about have that kind of feeling behind them.
They do. I have another poem if you want me to read now or maybe later.
Well, let's go through once and then we'll go through twice. I can't wait to hear the next.
All right.
Okay, Walker, it's time for you to let us hear your reading for this evening.
Well, first, I'll just say that I self-published a book in 2007 called The Gift, and I've recently published this one. It's called, I don't know if that's backwards or not, The Second Sight.
Second Sight.
So, and it's broken into parts that have themes, and which I think is a kind of a good idea. And I also have an appendix in the back that I think is useful when you have obscure references or something like that. But my part 2 is on writing, and I thought you all might enjoy this. And this one's rather brief.
When you said it was broken up into sections, I think we would like to hear how you broke if you can do that quickly, how you
Yes, I can. The first one is called Passages, and that is just poems I thought that had no specific topic per se.
Okay.
The second part is on writing.
Writing.
And the third part is Never Too Old, and that's about older people falling in love and being in love. And the part 4 is called Crossing Over, and that's about death, essentially, and grieving. And part 5 is called After Burns. I'm a member of the Burns Club in Atlanta. I believe y'all met there once years ago at the Burns Cottage. And so that's some Burns type theme things. And then the part 6 is called The Politics and Man. I'm an attorney, and I've written on basically politics and criminal law and that sort of thing. And the last is Toasts and Tributes, which I think a lot of people write, and I advise this when I give talks, but they write toasts that they read to their family at a Christmas party or something like that, but they don't really give it enough time to sort of where they can work it over and perfect it, if y'all know what I mean. I'm sure you do. Somebody gets up and you think that was okay, but it could be a lot better if they had waited. Now, from my section on writing, I'll read a short one called The Muse. When she comes to help you, and from behind whispers suggestions, soft as warm breath kisses, put aside all else to listen as intently as when kneeling down to pray. By the window, pen in hand, looking out but not distracted, let that quiet trance begin wherein her sound, her love, her gentle hand will be your aid and comfort. Who would turn to question her or gaze upon her sometimes fleeting face? Who would not his pen uncap to work with her toward answers? What fool indeed would turn away to deal with lesser things?
Oh, nice.
Okay, you muse the answers. That was very nice. And I like him that you shared those different categories. I'm doing that in my book also. And so I was interested in how you're doing it, but I haven't published yet. Kathy, have you published yet?
I have self-published, as he said, a book of poetry. Yes, I have. Yeah.
I'm so proud of all y'all. I got to catch up with you. You got to encourage me, y'all.
Yeah, mine's called The Weight of Ink. And
Weight
the thing
of
is
Ink.
finding things that are worth the weight of ink on a piece of paper. So anyway, are you ready for me to read?
Ready for you.
Okay, this is about first love, and I think everybody has one, if you're honest. Everybody has a first love. But this is called Epilogue. I saw you but once in the years that followed. We conversed in brief, meaningless words. Neither of us could long held the other's gaze. Much was left unsaid, would never be said, could never be said. A finish, a finale, a final curtain. The time for us was over. Those days would never come again, could never come again. When you turned and walked away, I watched until the distance between us swallowed the last sight of you. We both knew it would have to do. But time would not, could not erode the memory of you. Just the bare burning longing, and alas, the final dying need of you.
I like that. Swallowed the last sight of you.
The last dying need of you.
Oh, that is beautiful. That's beautiful. Hey, I'm so old I can't remember that. Okay, so I'm glad you shared that
I'm
with
sure
us.
you can.
Okay.
I do have another too, if we have time to
Okay,
read another.
we'll come around on the second go. Daniel, are you ready to share with us? Daniel, yes.
Certainly. Sorry, I was trying to unmute. I'm not very well versed with Zoom, but yes. This is a Starling studded show, and this is how it reads. Amid the crags and cavities of makeshift dens, a flock bears witness to a striking golden trend. They rise in tandem as the fervency accrues, and stir a frenzy in the face of blazing hues. Segmented waves of spellbound starlings elevate towards candescent skies, suspend and circulate in sync. Their wingspans whisper sunset symphonies while manifest in silhouetted symmetries. With poise and sudden swiftness, they transform the air into an ever-changing scape. This canvas where each turn and swirl unfurls a painterly display, a moving mural rendered on the dying day. They merge in streaks of onyx strands to form a veil that crowns the clouds and skims across a coastal trail, then separates as if surrendering to gusts, and covers summits like a desert storm-flung dust. Their pace allays, erratic bursts revert to long glissades of shimmering shades, a showy dance along a latent stopgap stage. They rise, careen, decline, retracing what remains of lofty lazuli before it all becomes a screen of red-specked gold. The starlings falter in its wake. They cannot hold their elegance in fading light. Their spirals wane in streaming chains, then spill in spates of jet-black rain.
Wow.
Wow.
Wow. And you're reading this. I could just see them just moving as you wrote. Couldn't y'all feel them in the air and just kind of like see them? That was
Yes, beautiful meter and rhyme.
Oh, thank you.
Very nice, very nice.
Thought it sounded rather Shakespearean, as if someone was standing there on that sheltered lea, as Wordsworth might have said.
Yeah.
Thank you for the kind words.
okay. I'm number 5 this evening, and my poem is called Generosity. Can you hear me through this mask?
Yes.
Okay. Generosity, a quality, pray we all cultivate, instill into our children's hearts first. No, excuse me, let me start over. Generosity, a quality, pray we all cultivate, instill into our hearts first, then in children inculcate. If in daily dealings love and generosity show, those who witness deeds of kindness, generosity know. No more happiness in giving than there is to receive. Before felt God's loving kindness, doubt this truth, would believe. God's act of generosity, gift of begotten Son, what have we offered back to God for things for us He's done? God's act of generosity out of love us did give. If follow loving example, a kinder life will live. Thank you.
Yes, very
Okay.
good.
Stephen, it's back around to you.
Okay. The next poem is called Indian Creek Trail. To learn the lessons of rocks, take your shoes off here under the overhang of trees. Feel the cold flow of water as you reach for a foothold on a rock in the stream. Every step a concentration on finding the next one until, as you learn to walk them, the teeth clench, the fear of falling fades into calm until you look up at the weathered tree caught on the high edge of the falls the last time the sky cracked and water came like a rumble from the mountain's throat, and say, like the quiet but unflinching rocks, bring me your storms.
Bring me your what?
Storms.
Wow. I could see the feet trying to step on those rocks and find a good footing. And that was called Indian Creek Trail. That was lovely.
Beautiful
And it was
imagery.
sublime. Yes.
I
Thank
love
you.
the imagery. Yeah.
And
Very
you know, I like we're a small group tonight.
Oh, I do too.
And yeah, and we can just talk to each other. Would you like that idea of being more personal with each other?
Talk or read more.
Yeah, well, we're here. Hey, it's us tonight. We're here till 9 o'clock.
Okay.
Okay, let's see. We have Walker again.
Oh, can't hear you.
There we go.
Walker.
There we
Okay.
go.
There we go.
I don't know if any of you remember Borges, the Argentine intellectual, and but he was a man of letters who had just a widespread impact on the
On the what? We lost you.
You're muted.
You're muted.
there we go.
Last thing I heard, we had a wide impact.
Yes, this is called Coming Back to Borges. He was blind, by the way. He lived a long time. He spoke, gosh, I don't know, 10 different languages and Old Norse and all that sort of stuff. But at any rate, you old blind monument to what a man can be. Argentine scholar and mentor, you gently chide, showing how we let preoccupations distract, turning us away from pen and paper, from drafting boards and mason's trowels, so that at the end of things, and looking back, we see that time has run, and we never shall finish that poem, that idea, that wall. Perhaps even you, comfortable in old age, with so much you did, wrote, and taught, are thinking of a young and hopeful woman who waited for you to complete a novel or a wall, recalling even after many years her smile, her blue eyes, the supple body beneath the dress she wore that day. That day you both were smiling and laughing, leaning together there against the half-finished parapet you were building outside your home in Buenos Aires.
Nice.
I never knew her.
Well, I think there's a moral that I like to put across to the listener and the reader is that when you have inspiration, you need to go ahead and write it. You need to put aside everything and do it then, because otherwise you'll The
It
time
was-
will pass.
It
We agree
evaporates.
with that.
Do what?
I said, I think we all agree with that,
Absolutely.
you know, and I think the older we get, the more courageous we get to do the things we thought we couldn't do. Like for me, writing, I've always been an artist.
Yeah.
And so for me to be writing now is like, even my son said, where did that come from? How long have all of you been writing?
Years,
Since I was 14 or something.
all my life.
Oh, wow. What about you, Stephen?
Since college.
And Daniel, how long have you been writing?
It's been intermittent. Throughout my teenage years, I was avid, and then basically I didn't write again until, well, recent years when life was turned upside down by my health battle. So, yeah, 3 years in my teens and the last couple of years. So, 5 years very much divided.
Hmm.
Well, we want to encourage each other to keep on doing that.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. Kathy, it's your time again, I believe.
Okay. This one's called Reveille. In rays of saffron robed light, dawn steals through the tilted slats of the blinds, creeps down the wall, and crawls in fine lines toward my pillow, bids me leave the drowsy world of dreams, finds me honey slow, weary as when I went to bed the night before. I yawn, stretch, and marvel at the repertoire of the mockingbird skittering from tree to tree, its exuberant vocals overwhelming the silence. But why at this early hour? And why so loud? Oh, to have the morning vigor, the oomph of that flittering little piece of fluff. And then, with one eye open and one half closed, I put my feet on the floor, open the blinds, and peek at the moss outside, its blooms waiting for full sun to unfold. Even though my presence will make not a whit of difference, I will linger no longer. Taking a cue from the mockingbird, I've decided to go out and sing reveille to the moss.
Oh, wow. I
Love the turn in that, the tone.
think we should all decide to do that. That was absolutely lovely.
Thank you.
Okay, Daniel.
This is Monarch March.
Monarch what?
Monarch March.
March.
A streak of weightless specks are guided by beguiling light around a trackless pathway where the grassy hills invite them to descend on sweeping boughs. They drape the dews and fuse with branches forming tapestries of gilded orange hues. Once nascent rays of dawn survey these dormant sways, it brings a timely warmth that vivifies their inner wish and sings a skyward melody. They flit and drift in sync to form abundant clusters, then become a twinkling swarm that ventures past the groves and glades to where a net of streams combines their bursts with brimming binds along translucent seams, through funneled climbs to cirrus clouds until horizons wear their gushing flushes as they jive and dive through aisles of air, to flow in growing droves and reach beyond an ocean span that renders an aurora pose above Michoacan, with patters on familiar furs, a journey re-begun by rise and fall of monarchs that forever chase the sun.
Oh, wow.
Thank you.
Wow. Nice.
Again, we can see the movement. Can't you, Kathy? Can't you, Stephen, feel the movement of what he's saying?
Absolutely. It just flows so nicely.
Thank you.
I think I'd like to take some reading lessons from you, how to read.
It's lovely. Lovely.
I
think-
keep thinking that about how in the 1940s and 50s you'd have people like Lawrence Durrell and other poets would be reading on BBC over there, and so he sounds kind of like that. I'm reminiscent of that, Daniel.
That's an amazing compliment. Thank you.
Oh,
Well, I mean, it's within a radio age, people need to do more. They need to have some emotion and push to it and music to it. So they're right.
yeah, I would like to have more of that, but my poems tonight don't lend themselves to that. I think we have someone who's joined us by the name of Hilda. Hilda, are you there?
She was.
Hilda, come
Was.
back and read. Hilda,
We lost her.
maybe she'll come back. Let's see. I don't remember her. I just wrote these, so I don't even know if I can read them well. This one was called Glorious Fall. Fall's time of year, I think I can hear whispers of warmth retire. See trees undress their fiery hues, branches shed their attire. Sun ignites all of fall's glory more than just falling leaves, which paint an abstract ground cover over the roots of trees. Under golden ginkgo walking, love to kick up gold leaves, not ladylike on way to work, kick leaves high as my knees. Fall's time unpack lightweight jackets for coolness in the air, to wear to Georgia country fair, ride the rides everywhere. Harvest moon celestial treat, in fall's cloudless sky gleams. God provides this panorama, background for all our dreams.
Nice, nice.
Ethereal imagery and what a lovely ending. That was
Yes.
superb.
I like us critiquing ourselves and each other tonight. This is fun. We've never done this before. Come on back, Hilda, wherever you are. Okay, let's see. Stephen, I think we're back around to you, young man.
Okay. This is en route to an appointment in Savannah. I leave the interstate where Georgia is impossible to see, take Highway 17 through towns and hamlets under canopies of beautiful live oaks, its heyday of 50s car culture a time warp of abandoned or still used buildings. The Betcher's Bar and Grill in an old Stuckey's, or a motel office with green house plants hanging from ornamental aluminum porch columns, white pickup out front, the horseshoe of guest rooms stretching from it empty, checkerboard of old tarps on the decaying roof. After miles of pine flatwoods, the bottomlands of South Newport River are bayous of green algae ponds under pines and oaks, and I'm drawn to turn off at the boat ramp road where scrub oak, pines, and cedars border the marsh, down the potholed asphalt, past tossed styrofoam meal boxes and cardboard 12-pack cases to the boat ramp's concrete descent into tea-dark water, where I turn the car off, listen to the buzz of cicadas, wonder how long it took for a purple flowered vine I see to creep through the high tasseled grass at water's edge. Imagine the benthic world of trout and sea bass under the dark water. Listen to the sweet warbles of songbirds. Then the motorized zip of a jet ski sounds around the bend of the river's oxbow, reminds me I have an appointment in a city's traffic down the road.
Stephen, young man, I'm afraid of your dating yourself when you mentioned Stuckey's.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Remember Stuckey's.
Stuckey's candy bar.
Right. Do y'all let's anything anybody else wants to say about him? I like the potatoes that he talked about. And how many of us haven't gotten off of a highway and taken one of those roads? And that's what you were referring to. How many times have you done that, Stephen?
I prefer the back roads. In fact, the first poem in my book, Dream Like Earth, is Georgia Back Road.
Mm,
Oh, wow.
that's
Yep.
nice.
Yep. No, you do. Sometimes it's nice to get lost
Mhm.
and just see what you discover where you didn't plan to go. You found is lovelier than where your destination at times.
Mhm.
That was lovely. Okay, Walter. Walker, it's time for you again. You're muted.
There we go. That's so if the phone rings or something, it won't bother y'all. But when I was in law school in Macon, I
Oh,
used to go. I used to go out to the kaolin mines. I don't
yeah.
know if y'all have ever seen those, but they're open pit mines and they've been abandoned. So, but it's now this white band of white clay around like an emerald lake. The lakes don't get green with algae like most lakes in Georgia do, and it's just beautiful. And so this is called Macon Memory.
Wow.
His youth, so much like ours, we recall with mixed emotions. We think of the succession of his lovers, both consecutive and sometimes concurrent, who, like books upon his bed, were opened and read, some to last chapters, some unfinished, put aside. Yet each has left her mark, perhaps his prints on her, perhaps her scars on him. Often unanswered questions echo, longings of the heart reverberate on and on these many years. From time to time, he calls one of them, making proffers of coffee in some public place, hoping to atone for acts committed long ago when they were lovers those few months, sharing beauty and the arrogance of youth. Almost 50 years. What is this old man thinking, recalling their summer down in Macon? Does he see her at the duplex breakfast table or remember how they sweated in the heat? Does he think of all the laughter, of songs they sang, the piano, the records, the friends they had together? Of course he does. But first, and always this, last, and always this he sees, the two of them one Sunday morning, alone together at the open kaolin mine, where on the beach of white clay they set their basket and their blankets down. Then beside its large and emerald lake, beneath a wide and sunny sky, they shed their clothes to join again for love and pleasure's sake. That morning lasts these 50 years. The sight of her above him lingers. Even now he sees her oh so slender form, her pretty, smiling face and dancing eyes, her long, light brown hair rippling in the light, swirling around her active form, a silken veil, shading him from the blinding sun of August, securing in the moment this place, this unforgettable place where she is now forever young, and we shall not forget her.
Oh, neat. I love that.
Wow. Well, y'all, I'm from Macon, Georgia.
Uh-oh.
That was lovely. I've never, I've ridden by 'em, but that was like maybe 30, 40 years ago before I went to New York. So I don't see them as you see them now. But that was lovely. That was very. Hello to Pat. Pat Newton, where are you from?
I'm from Columbus, Georgia.
Okay. Well, we're glad you're with us tonight. We're gonna slip you in real quick, and then is that okay with y'all? I think who is
Sure.
Kathy, you were next.
That's fine. Let Pat read, and I'll read it after her.
Okay, we'll pick up that. Okay, Pat, you're from Columbus. And what are you going to read for us tonight?
I will read a poem called Enigma.
Enigma.
Okay.
Okay,
You have the floor.
thank you. Enigma. It was a mystery. From the beginning, she liked it that way. It made my head spin. Her clues were priceless. A window, a chair, a lion, a frame. What was she thinking of? She wanted to bring me in and share the beauty of touch and feel, of surfaces smooth. It was a variation, a time not lost to the senses, to important things. Where are we going? I asked again. Her hand went to her lips. Shh, I can't say. Sometimes it was a breath, a scent of roses, a hint of mint, or a ray of sunshine. From room to room we wandered and shared these things. And then I realized the warmth, the smell of cooking that engulfed me even more was music to my soul. We were home.
Interesting. Very nice.
I can read one short one. This I wrote in the middle of the night. Can you hear me?
Barbara, I
Thank you.
believe you're muted.
You're right. I was muted. Thanks, Kathy. We'll come back around to you. We're going to hear from Kathy and then Daniel.
Okay. This one is called Still. I'm awestruck by a whirling murmuration of starlings, turning this way and that in a sun-sweet sky. The first taste of spring in a ripe berry. Butterflies basking in the noonday sun, and the noisy kerfuffle of bullfrogs beneath a slumberous summer moon. My attention is further piqued by nimble hands and unstrung harps, by the hard, towered walls of human hearts, by hands that should serve but render only to self, by hearts that should overflow with compassion, yet are calloused and empty with no strings to pluck. But it's the faces of children that move me most, especially those that play atop the burned out, bombed out rubble of war. Throughout history, we see them amid chaos they did not choose nor create. Still, despite the moil and gloom of a sometimes roaring world, birds and butterflies still fly. The first hue of dawn still crowns the far crest of the unwinding hill, and bullfrogs still herald the splendor of star-studded nights. Woven within the commonplace and the bizarre, the virtuous and the atrocious, the mundane and the shocking, comes the realization that no matter what, the sun and moon still follow their course, the stars still align, and life goes on still.
Nice ending.
I like where you said the chaos that they did not choose. Isn't that true in this world today?
Yes.
Your poem is really right on spot of the chaos that the whole world is seeing now.
Yeah.
And I think that was very beautifully written.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kathy. Okay, Daniel, we're ready for you again. And you know what's interesting? This is the second poem tonight we've had on starlings, right, Daniel? You started
Yes.
with starlings, and now Kathy picked up
We
on.
also both did butterflies as well. It's fantastic symmetry. I like it.
I think I'm going to start learning about starlings after tonight, friends. Okay, Daniel.
Okay, this is The Making of a Dragonfly.
Oh, wow. Making of a dragon.
A Heinz emerald dragonfly surveys a mazy route of river rims and sunken arcs encased by sylvan shrouds. She seeks out an untethered base, the solace of a leaf, and lays her eggs atop its holes, once held by ebbing heaves. The makeshift cradle feigns neglect. It falls where gaping pores consume all life and light alike amid abyssal floors. A fortnight's flow brings constant streams of homing prows and sweeps. Blades are bent and stems are stirred in hunts for spoils they keep. Above, a thinned but unspoiled drape, a light green spurt appears, a lonesome egg that stayed the waves reduced to meager spheres. Like cosmic dust, propelled by gusts, the drifting shell remains, yet trails a newborn nymph's ascent into a liquid lane. It wanders into rooted frays and foliaged roulettes, to sway with aqua masquerades inside the layered depths. It veers through ceaseless insect crowds in hectic free-for-alls, where dainty strides and dives collide and carcasses are halls. Inside extensive crevices, if flimsy lulls allow, the nymph, when sated, strains and shakes and sheds a tattered gown to show a swollen veiny form that teems with bristly bits and pulses with the promises of metamorphosis. This growth comprises newfound stealth, a shield of shades of green, with veils to spur its escapades, adventures in between. The sense of gills and guillotines evading every grasp, a spindly spectre brash but blurred, marauding jams and banks. There comes a day when currents change, the nymph no longer roams the labyrinth of river realms, it languishes by stones, and climbs a common rush, then stalls with statuesque aplomb. A pause before the colors quake, a tremble ripples from the sheets where it contorts and turns, its peak-locked frame mutates, and breaks out from a molded moult, its back and sides now graced by wings of glass-like yarns combined into a mesh of hues, of burgundy and beaming greens, a creature born anew. Thank you.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
That was beautiful.
A lot of alliteration in there that's just gorgeous. Really gorgeous.
Thank you.
I enjoyed that very much. What did you say? There was something about the carcasses were the what? The carcasses?
Halls. It's a reference to how the critters and insects underwater, they're just basically feasting on each other, battles for survival, but basically hardly any of these nymphs survive, and if they do, they grow wings, they become butterflies become dragonflies, and that's just basically trying to depict that.
Well, this is a night of nature. We've had trees and we've had
Yes, it is.
It's very nice to be. Let's see. I don't have those kind of poems tonight. I'm going to peek for one. Pat, I'm going to let you sneak in on where I would read next, and you read, and I'm going to stand up and grab my book, and I'm going to listen to you. Go ahead.
This is a short, very short. You can't argue with death. You can't argue with death. It's the end of a deep breath released into the universe, winds whipping the edges, knocking off the scales, smoothing the thoughts of life into a continuum of direction, into the unknown.
And you wrote that very quickly one night, you said.
I did, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, hold on just one second, and let's just see. I've read this one before, but I think y'all may remember. Well, how do I dare say, do you remember 9/11? Who doesn't remember it? Can you hear me with me this far away from my speaker? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
This is called That Day, 9/11/2001. You're just watching TV, then a horror you see. It's beyond comprehension. That can't be. It just can't be. Eyes should see things lovely, not what they saw that day. If we turned off the programs, would the images go away? Some will never forget the smell, the scene, that sound, agonizing reality, not all loved ones would be found. Not found, but they're not lost. In God's memory, they're kept, for he has felt what you feel, and he's seen all the tears you've wept. God understands your doubts, your anger, and your fears. Remember, in the future, he will wipe away all tears.
No. So, the
Okay,
day we will never forget.
right. Okay, I just lost my lineup. Who is next? I think we go back to you, Stephen.
Stephen.
Okay. This one is called Beautyberry Season. As Wendell Berry says, quote, in a place that is my own place, unquote, I walk a foot-tamped path through my yard's hummock of forest in a suburban island neighborhood. I walk to mark the ground's gradual disappearing of glass lizards and darting skinks, the fading of the grapevine's curtain of green leaves down to its tangled skeleton in the slow autumn days. In the leafy ceiling, crooked oak branches drape skeins of moss watched over by 100-foot pines, high green needles bright in the sun, melodies from songbirds, squawking of squirrels, sharper squawks of jays. A squirrel sits a lower branch, intently turning a nut, snapping his tail's pom-pom to let me know I am watching him. I see two of my cats move panther-like to a redbird under an azalea. I toss a pine cone, scare the bird higher. Then, my respite disturbed, a flock of fish crows comes from the sky all at once, nature's punk rockers, loud, raucous, all about attitude. One lands in my stand of beautyberry bushes, dips and sways with a branch, until 7 or 8 land, snap the branch. Their outrageous calls, the collective vibration of 100 wings, jolt the day's peaceful status quo. They're all about bottom-up politics. We are here, get out of our faces. Even a possum with its laid-back, hippie-like gait speeds up away from the noise. Later they dash my white truck with royal colors, left behind graffiti. Other birds, animals, bushes, human, a yard full of straits. We're all glad they're gone.
Wow.
Very artful use of metaphor, I'd say. That was fantastic.
Thank you.
Very good. Very good. Who's next?
How about Pat?
Okay,
Pat Newton, how about you?
okay. This one is kind of a joke. Felicity Ann. Frazzled and dazzled, my feathers are wild. My pupils are large. I'm a chicken. My eyes are sky blue. My tail's impressive too. My feet want to fly. I can dance. I'm listening. My spirit is bold. Just let me be. I'm a chicken. Is my voice too high or my cackle too loud? Do I have too many opinions? Are my arguments tough? My desire too strong? Well, I'm a chicken. Lucky for me, Felicity Ann, my head won't roll no matter what.
Oh,
I belong to vegetarians. Straight up and strong, they like me like I am, frazzled and fit, ready to dance, but only when I can. I'm a chicken.
oh, I love that. That's darling. Very good.
So witty and fun.
Yeah.
That was fun. Frazzled and ready. What did you say? Frazzled and ready to dance?
Love
That was, I'm sorry, I was muted a while ago.
Yeah.
It was Walker's turn now. We'll get back to you and then I'll rhyme.
As I said, I am a member of the Burns Club in Atlanta, and I have one of the sections of the book is after Burns, and so this is kind of a Burnsian type thing. As you probably all know, Burns has had about 13 illegitimate children, and we he did marry one of his women, and she had twins by him, and then more children. This is called Two Sisters, and I'll read it with a slight Scottish accent if I can manage it, if Daniel will forgive me. The Two Sisters. The older was pristine and chaste, and now the lady's dead. No pillow marks a place where once she held a lover's head. No poems will bring forth memories of raptures in her bed. Her name has quickly followed her to the land where she has fled. He tried to woo her many times. She gave but scornful laughter. He would have given flowers and rhymes that would live in songs hereafter. So now she's dead and long forgot. Now they're both long departed. No songs of her were ever writ, nor was he by her e'er broken hearted. Her sister, though, that bonny lass, will never fully fade. She lay with him upon the grass, and love was what she made. Her boldness flamed quite well with his, and soon they went away to lovely places where they bred so often from that day. She bore him twins, a daughter too, before 3 years could pass. He wrote poems and songs of her that remind us of the lass. He gave her more than healthy bairns, and more than just a name, for all his songs that she inspired gave her long life and fame. She was ne'er as lovely as some others, nor as pretty as her sister, but who can tell for all the praise she gleaned when the poet kissed her?
Oh, nice. Nice.
Well, Daniel, what do you have to say about his accent, young man?
Well, before I compliment the accent, I think it was excellent storytelling, but yeah, actually it was suitably convincing. Definitely. The Scottish way, just about
Thank you,
there.
lad.
Mm,
Kathy, we're ready for you, please.
okay. This one's called Time and Chance. Some call it fate, but I suppose it's mostly happenstance. All those unforeseen events and fortuitous meetings, especially when it comes to late bloomers and those always running a tad late. Ever questioning, what if, and the road not taken. Trying to read a map, anxious and driven like children playing hide and seek in the faltering light. Hearts sheltered in tough shells, carrying secrets within the soul's spare walls, desperately searching for something or someone. The noisy wheels of chance rumbling on in between the gaunt ribs of time. Always a fortress under siege, sand slipping through the hourglass.
And it slips through too fast. Do we all agree? That was beautiful. That was beautiful.
This reminds me of something, please. That it might be nice if you at the end of this would just share all our email addresses with each other, in case for some reason we want to contact. I'll just put mine down here on that chat function. So if any of you want to copy it down, you can. How does that sound? Reasonable?
I would love
Definitely,
that.
yes.
Kathy, how about you? I mean, you do know you can all reach me as the vice president of the Georgia Poetry Society. And I would love to hear from all of you. I would love to invite you to join. We're keeping our membership at $35 right now. It will go up next year. But with your membership, we have a tech guy that is so fantastic. And he's going to be offering a lot of free lessons to those who are members. We're trying to make this the year of the membership. I want us to give back to the members as much as we can this year. There's a lot of exciting things we've got on. Raise your hand if you're a member. Okay, y'all are members. Okay, so Daniel and Pat and Walker, we'd love for you to think about doing this.
I was a member a couple of years ago.
Oh.
It's just I've only just started receiving emails again from Georgia Poetry Society. It's great to see things are happening. Perhaps they've been happening all along. I don't know, but yes, I do intend on rejoining. Absolutely.
Well, you know, with the COVID, if we can chat for just a moment. You know what I got my doctor to do today for me, my heart doctor, because I have been quarantined in my house for 5 years as of today. And I wear a mask because I say, I don't want to catch a computer virus, but I got my doctor today to write me a prescription to let me go to the convention this summer and to let me get out of the house. And I would love to have contact with all of you. I don't know how this works on the computer.
I don't either. I don't know how to use the chat thing.
Okay, well, let me ask you this. Since it's our party tonight and we're having a small party, Stephen, would you be opposed to us right now taking time for everyone to give their email address? Or were you willing to share? Nobody has to now. This is just something.
Sure. Yeah, I put mine in the chat, but I can speak it. It's Sea Islander, SEAISLANDER, the number 2 at gmail.com.
Thank you.
You're gonna have to do that again for me. I didn't have paper.
Okay.
Let me read it, Stephen, let me read it back to see
Okay.
if I got it correct.
Okay.
With C like SEA, then island, ISLANDER, right?
Mm-hmm.
2, the number 2 at gmail.com.
That's
Did I
it.
get it right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'll go next. Mine is the combination of 2 names, Joyce and Nadine. So it's JOYCINE Joycines at gmail.com. And that is also my Facebook account, Joycines Art, Attitude, and Accessory Gallery. So that's JOYCINES at gmail.com. Okay, Walker.
Mine's all you got to do. All you have to do, Kathy, is look down at the bottom of that of your screen.
Yeah, I see.
All those different things, and about the mine at least, the 4th one in, it says chat.
Yeah, right.
And when you push on chat, you'll get a little screen jump up in the middle. You don't get that?
No.
Oh, yes, I just got something. Yeah, I got Ciala.
Yeah, but mine is Walker at Chandler and ChandlerLaw.com. And the and is spelled out. Chandler and ChandlerLaw.com.
Walker at Chandler
and ChandlerLaw.com.
AND?
Yes.
Well, I'm sorry, but I don't see it. I just see it appeared as WalkerChandler.com.
Well, that's the second note I sent. That's my website.
Okay.
Okay.
And then
Chandler Law.
but the other one is two above that.
I
And
see
it
it.
shows my email address. And I see right below that Stephen's email address.
Right.
Okay.
And
I got lost.
who got lost?
Me, I'm back on the Zoom screen somewhere.
Okay. Are you still seeing us, Kathy?
No, I'm off.
Okay, now we can still see you. Can you see our pictures at all anymore?
No.
Let me get off of this and see.
Keep
Maybe
poking
I'm
around.
I got
Yeah,
I got
she's
back.
got it.
I got
Yep.
back.
I'm glad we're all helping each other tonight. That's what friends are for. Okay, Daniel, you ready to give us your information?
Yeah, dcfm85@gmail.com.
Do that again, please.
Certainly, dcfm85
All right.
at gmail.com.
Okay.
Okay. Great. Kathy, I'm ready for you.
Okay, it's E as in Elizabeth, K as in Catherine, Wright, WRIGHT, 01@bellsouth.net.
Okay. Now let me tell y'all, our tech guy will eliminate this from being on YouTube. So this will not go out over the air.
Okay.
Okay, this will just be for us tonight. Pat, do you want to share anything?
Sure. My email is Pat B Newton NEWTON @gmail.com.
Okay. This was fun. Okay, I hope someone was keeping up as whose turn it is to do this now.
Well, I read last, so it's
Daniel's time.
Oh, okay. One moment. Okay, just a short one, a sonnet. Ephemeral shrouds, and this is how it reads. A wanton wave of pallid hails descends from ashen skies. Its drifts are carried through to every nook and peak by lofty breaths. Abundant, bunched up, powdered sheets imbue terrains in bright white hues, while structured flakes display arrays of lustrous reveries. This frigid rain persists, a frozen lake reflects a fervid glare, as if to tease a place where sheens and gleams can shine as one. But blankets bearing flame-lit crystals spell their end. Their flimsy layers come undone, as landscapes well in scintillating swells. A realm left bare, but gifted streaks of gold, is lesser for the loss of winter's hold. Thank you.
Okay, I think now it's me. I'm sorry, I don't have my notebook of nature stuff out, so I picked up one that's kind of funny. I don't know that these men can appreciate this as much, Kathy and Pat, as you. It's called Double D's.
uh-oh.
I understand.
Double D, not a bra size. It's labeled most women hate. It means divorced and desperate, means looking for a mate. It would be funny if not true, but it's true and so sad. Some are looking for a hero, others a dear old dad. Some to turn back hands of time, dressed as if 30 again. Can't see what men seeing, see old pathetic specimen. Some pretend they're young again, try to play the dating game, up against gals younger, slimmer, lost youth, what's to reclaim. Some have a label, a cougar. They desire a young stud. These women want to look young while bathe their bodies in mud. You're smarter than those dumb old broads. You're not a double D. You're attractive, smart, and now, wow, rich and fancy free.
Cute.
A little sense of humor in there.
Yeah, look, he's cute.
Okay, let's see. Pat, I believe it's your turn now. Do you have
Okay.
anything else?
This one's called Turquoise and Orange.
Turquoise and orange. Okay.
Okay, colors in the sunset, colors in Zupan, colors that make me hold my breath and then to breathe again. Think of a French stripe in a dress or in a hem, and a bit of white to blend against your skin. Those colors make me happy, such assurance there. They have a touch of mystery, something that's unclear. They come in different forms. An orange is an orange, and turquoise is a stone waiting to be polished. They both are treasures to people everywhere. One could be a flower shape to wear in your hair. An orange could inspire a still life or a frame with bits of color to mix and match, to glean with eye or hand. Colors in the sunset, that bright reflected light that makes all things possible, from turquoise to orange to white.
Nice.
That's lovely.
Mm.
Who hasn't seen a sky like that also?
Mm.
So, y'all, I would like for you, like, you give more poetic replies in your critiques. And that's how I'm learning. I only can relate to the emotional impact of what you're saying. So I love the way some of you are critiquing these poems in a more poetic manner. So anything you want to add, please go ahead. Okay. Let's see. Stephen, we're back around to you, young man.
Okay. We're just a few days away from Veterans Day. So your poem about 9/11, Barbara, made me think of this one that I wrote. It's called 9/12. After the sky fell on the
Did
city.
you, is this about veterans, Stephen?
It is. It's about my time in the Army.
Could you hold for 1 minute? I want to call my husband over, who's a vet. And
Okay. Uh-huh.
this is Stephen, and my poem on 9/11 reminded him of his time. He's a vet, so he's going to read a poem about being a vet.
Okay.
I'm ready, Stephen.
Okay. This is 9/12. After the sky fell on the city, swelling its canyons, the talus slopes of smoke and carnage, the names of missing spoken as pleas into camcorders that swish pan to passing sirens. In the quiet towns and muted cities, TV screens blink images against our staring eyes. At Fort Stewart, we clean weapons and watch CNN. Fingertips smell of gun oil as hand reaches up, rubbing chin in thought, looking into this widescreen scry glass. Any news of who did this to the staggering city, predicting our future. 100% accountability releasing us. I passed the parade field, sunset making a shadow over ground where a grove of crepe myrtles, each named for a soldier, will soon grow. Knowing safety can be counted, the months of it limited by news we will receive, that it's finite like grains in a bullet. Across the world, a desert moon none of us has seen yet rises over Solder City. Now, years and all of our deaths later, I can look up, see it, feel it, its beauty wounded nightly by an observance of mortar shells.
Mm-hmm.
That's heavy, but that's nice.
Very touching.
Thank you.
Yeah, I admire that you took on such a brave topic and came up with that. That was memorable, positively haunting in your art, and yeah, impactful, truly.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Very impressive.
If I could follow that while your husband is there, I went to Normandy in 2008 for the first time I'd been there, and went to Omaha Beach. And I've recently been rereading all kinds of accounts of of the storming of the beaches and things like that. But this is something I wrote back then. It's called, and it's the first poem in this book that I have, that I've done, the second side.
Okay.
It's called Normandy Beach. This lovely seaside summer's day, where small and pensive groups stroll among these memories blended, these broad and noble sweeps of sand, here in this pause, where we join in hearts with those who came ashore, who soon enough we follow up ourselves to the waiting, leveled field, where friends await in perfect rows beneath the flag that ripples there, lifted by the constant wind crossing this sometimes peaceful sea. Memories here of awful scenes, of steel barriers to landing craft, of men dying on this very beach, floating in the water, young faces down, who never had their chances to fire even single shots in anger. Here men once were crouching down, sheltering from flying death, until at last they summoned up the raw and sometimes fatal courage to climb these hills where their foes were firing down upon them. Along the coastline to the south, Point de Hoc is standing out, high above the waves that still attack. Memory sees Germans rolling down grenades to burst among those who on ropes and ladders are climbing up the cliffs to kill them. And the sea, this vast and open plain where nimble pleasure boats are passing, there once 1,000 ships were bringing death to those who waited on the hills, where now in peaceful rows graves are tended. Today, upon this open, sunlit beach where young men once ran through terror, happy youth sail down the sands on wheels. No crosses stand to stop them, no bullets fly, no buried mines are hoping for their lives. Landward, higher than we thought they'd be, some blasted concrete forts remain, where the French have left them still in place, so memories of that day will long endure, and gratitude itself will bear the name of Normandy.
My 18-year-old uncle was on that beach, and he saw horrible things. And he never talked about it until he was in his 80s. He told me one day about it when that movie Saving Private Ryan came out. And I asked him, was he going to go to see it? He said, no, I was there. I lived it. I don't need to go see it. You know, and he talked, you know, told me some things. And he said, you know, when his feet hit the water, you know, people to get on the beach, and there was boys just dying all around him. So he just kept moving, just kept going forward. And I think about all those young people that died that day, and I think how magnificent they were. You know, they were the greatest generation. They truly were.
And it's
But
sad.
all that serve in war are magnificent young men.
Yeah. And
Very
the
touching.
what they could have been will never be known.
Mm-mm. But it really tugs on my heart to even think about those days, those times.
Yeah.
And
the French really do, in that, especially in that
they do. Yes.
France, they still think positively of Americans because
They'll
they
honor a lot of those men.
Yeah,
They do.
Okay, I think now I'll be back. What to you, Daniel?
I think you skipped me.
Oh, did I skip
Yes.
you, Kathy? Don't you let me do that.
I'll be right back. I've got to go let my dog in.
Yeah, hey, listen, we would take a break, so if I don't know how to take a break. So if not, somebody's go get something to drink, y'all just scoot off.
You want to just wait till he gets back?
Yeah, we can. Let's all get up and go get a drink of water.
Okay.
I'm just gonna leave it
I
running.
don't need one.
Where are you at? Oh, that's okay. You're right there. That's fine. I heard you barking and I thought you were blah, blah, blah. Okay. Je suis ici. Maintenant.
Okay. Let's see, Daniel will be back in a minute. I've enjoyed tonight getting to know y'all on a more personal level. Haven't you seen it a little bit different tonight, Stephen? Am I muted? No, I'm not muted. Okay.
Stephen's muted.
And I've got to figure out how to get rid of my chat. How to get rid of that chat that I
The
brought
little
up.
red button up in the upper left-hand corner of it.
I'm scared if I hit that, y'all will all disappear.
No, it's in that small box, the little red button.
I'm too scared. I'm too scared. Oh, me. All righty. Now, whose turn was it?
This is
Kathy.
me, I think.
Yes,
Is Pat coming back?
I hope she does.
Okay, I'm
Lisa.
gonna read, this is my book that I
Let
did.
me see,
It's,
put it up. Lisa.
called The Weight of Ink.
Oh,
and
yeah,
it's got an old scribe on the front of the book. Of the
that's
cover.
lovely. That's lovely. When did you have that published, Kathy?
Oh, I think 2020. I think it was 2020 when I did it. But this is the first poem in that book called The Weight of Ink.
Well, let me ask you something, if I may interrupt you. Do you have your book divided into sections also?
No, mine are just a collection of poems.
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay. In the waning hours of a half-moon night, when darkness casts its slumbering spell and others lie in quiet repose, a wakeful muse evokes a barrage of hit-and-miss ideas while I seek sleep. How zealous is this unclocked Urania that wakes me, shakes me, and will not let me rest. Unable to resist the tug of inspiration, I rise and switch on a light. But even in the glare of illumination, concepts ebb away like waves caught in the rush and pull of the tide. Attempting to salvage fleeting contemplations before they're gone, I pick up a pen and notebook from a table nearby. With ink black as the midnight sky, I anchor rambling thoughts to the page, holding them for reflection in tomorrow's light. Hopeful my efforts will pay off, I coax ideas from the hidden reaches of my mind, rummaging through each fly-by-night notion for something, anything, that merits the weight of ink on a page.
I like the way you said about it, anchoring it down as if it's going to fly away.
It does. If you
Yeah.
don't write it down, sometimes the ideas don't come back.
I know, and one of the nicest things that I was taught was how that you can hit that, whatever it is, button, and it'll reprint what you just lost. Someone showed me that, and I thought, oh, I feel so smart now. So if they're not anchored down, like you said, Kathy, we can get them back.
Yeah.
Daniel, are you back and ready to read?
Certainly. This is Serengeti Storm. Within an Ngoro plateau, a crater embodies a circular lake, and copious blessings of greeneries grow which stimulate seasonal cycles awake. As rallies of fauna take over the fields to wantonly caper and wallow at will, this tenure of tentative harmony yields an influx of newborns that stagger and spill. They struggle to keep up with galloping strides when fringes and rills are abruptly beset by prowls. An eruption ensues on all sides. A cackle encroaches on herds like a net, which beckons a panicky chase that becomes a whirl that the whims of the wildebeest lead. They muster in masses as borders succumb to burgeoning bursts of a motley stampede. Their spirited
Oh, he froze.
You're frozen. Daniel.
I didn't freeze. But
Huh?
Kathy froze too, it looks like.
Oh, did I?
Nope, she's
No,
moving.
you're back.
I'm not moving.
How do we unfreeze Daniel?
Yeah,
Maybe-
he has to unfreeze himself.
Maybe
Oh,
it's some British thing, you know, where they've where the government's shutting him down or something like that.
Mm,
Some thing they've got against free speech or something.
no.
He's
Oh,
gone.
hold on.
It must be the connection.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
they've cut the transatlantic cable.
Oh,
We are being so silly and fun. Okay, I think it's my turn. Am I
There
right?
he's trying. There he came back.
there he is.
Are
Oh,
you back,
sorry.
Daniel?
Back from the Serengeti.
Apparently. Yeah, there's a major storm here the last 24 hours. It's been messing with our Wi-Fi and causing havoc. I don't know how much that I even heard. My apologies.
Oh, we heard a great deal of it, and then it went out.
Oh, I think I know where. Okay.
We were talking, so I forgot the last few words.
That's okay. Their spirited Sally embarks on the cracks of arid Eustoria's courses along Tanzania's badlands and animates packs from idylls and dens with its thunderous song. A pulse through the plains where the flourishing blades are trenches that trigger a sinister dance of scattering scrambles from scavenger raids as stragglers are mauled by a feline advance. Unwavering roamers arrive at a surge of slithers and growls from the depths of a bed. They dither at crossings, the first to emerge, a grapple, then wrung until ripples run red. The lions are undaunted and hurl themselves down, a barrage of beasts that haphazardly pours through gauntlets of torrents and gapes that surround their clatters of splashes with resonant roars. The channels, meanders, and deltas comprise the swept-up diminished formations and ranks, while martyrs are writhing, a resolute rise surmounts and surpasses the brims of the banks, and ventures towards the perpetual turn of Mara's abundant ambrosial terrain, a fleeting repose and triumphant return of nomads predestined to follow the rain. Thank you.
Wow.
Got there in the end.
Destined to follow the rain. That was beautiful. Everybody, I would like for y'all to welcome Lucinda Clark. She is the past president of the Georgia Poetry Society.
Hello.
We've got a fun group here, Lucinda.
He's muted.
Lucinda,
Yeah, I hear you. Oh, good, good. I'm just listening in. I'm just checking in, make sure you didn't need anything. So
well,
continue.
I tell you what you can do for us right now. I've already told everybody about the convention being held in Roswell, but if you would like to just do a little Yahoo about it tonight, we'd love to hear it.
Oh yeah. Okay. Just got off of the meeting, and so it is a go. We are in need of poets for to participate. There are several areas that we're going to be asking and reaching out for you guys to participate in. But the readings and the schedule has been almost finalized. We're going to need some bio information from some of you so that we can start to publicize. But it was a lot of information. That's the reason why if I sound jumbled. But it's June 5th. Just mark your calendars, June 5th to the 10th.
Okay. Stephen is a member, Kathy is a member. Daniel is from England, and where are you from, Daniel? Did I say that
He's
right?
from
Yeah,
Wales.
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 I'm
Don't you say
sorry.
England.
I'm sorry. And we're talking to Walker about joining us, and so we hope that they will do that. So everybody, you'll be hearing more about this in our newsletters.
Yes.
I don't see Pat anymore here, so I don't know if you're ready to read, Lucinda. Are you going to read tonight?
Oh, I was just like, I just wanted to pop in to make sure that you're okay. And I need to find my book.
Okay, we're having a good time tonight, Lucinda. It's like a little private party we're having, right, Kathy? Right, Walker, Stephen? It's a little bit different than
Wonderful. Good time.
what we've been doing.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like you guys are having a great time. I'm gonna go ahead and pop off. I just wanted to say hello and to let Barbara know that I did do the meeting and I will have an update for her in the morning.
Okay, I'll be glad to hear from you tomorrow.
Okay.
Uh,
Continue. Enjoy.
Thank
Enjoy.
you.
All right. Mhm.
Okay, my next poem is called So What? I like rhymes because I do a lot of rhyming. So it's called So What? I Like Rhymes. They run through my head from when I get up till I go to bed. Little silly things I've heard someone say, and something happened to someone today. It's all about them, sometimes you and me, hidden emotions or feelings set free. It's what's in my head, hidden in my heart, whenever we're near or when we're apart. It's about nothing and all that there is, about mom and dad's, mine and your kids. It's all about folks, their tribulations, joy, hopes, and triumphs, their daughters and sons. It's all about tomorrows and all could have beens, about little mistake, God forgiven sins. It's just you and me and all that we do to stay close to God, to Him always true. It's things never done and things seldom said, all good intentions still kept in our head. It's about dying, about growing old. Fact, one day we too, well, we'll be an old soul. It's about feeling proud or humbled by shame, praying God forgives us, remembers our name. Whatever it is, can think what you may. I felt what you feel, and I wrote it that way.
Very nice.
Thank you.
Very good.
Oh, that was so playful and sprightly.
Mhm.
Lovely.
Mhm.
Thank you. I try to be silly. At 85, I'm going to be as silly as I can be. I've earned that right, and I'm trying to give other people permission to just, oh, you won't believe what I write sometimes. Okay, Stephen, are you ready again, I hope?
Okay. This is back to my book Dream Like Earth. This is called Alapahaw.
It's called a what?
Alapahaw. It's the name of a river in southern Georgia.
Oh, really? Georgia's being really represented tonight.
When I take Highway 280 across South Georgia to Birmingham, choosing its sometimes lonely asphalt, splitting forests of pine or farms flush with crops over the monotony of interstate and Atlanta's spaghetti interchanges, I make time to leave this slower road buttoned by small towns of main streets, motels, and Dairy Queens, turn further south, find the even slower roads in the county of my grandfather's one-room schoolhouse, where he sat for 11 years and daydreamed of the river and pine woods, of quiet deer and turkey calls, sometimes a bear. Find the place he liked to go behind the country church on the even now dirt road down the river bluff in the rural place he was born into. I park at the church where he pulled his pistol on two angry roaming dogs, fired it into a tree, only wanting to scare them, he explained, would only kill them if he had to. This lesson in spirits, trees, animals, people, ancestors, best taught, felt, believed, here where hives of mosquitoes float through twilight, where I walk the broken clay road down to the river, where I wait for night to shimmer moonlight on forever tea-dark waters, mysterious waters, hedged by bald cypresses, wait for whippoorwill's song, and my grandfather's memory spirit walks across where we would put in the boat with its quiet electric motor, his memory resting here in the waking night, heavy in my chest.
Wow, you're on those back roads again, and that's really some beautiful memories. Does your book comprise a lot of memories, and
I would say yes. Mhm.
sounds like it's a very sensitive book? Very,
I think so. Mhm.
okay, let's see, Walker? I think it's your,
I'm sure you're all familiar with when Henry VIII accused Anne Boleyn of having incest with her brother. And that was led to her and his executions. And so, and I just thought Daniel might appreciate this little English history here. This is called A Sonnet to His Sister. George Boleyn's last message to his sister Anne. They were both imprisoned in the Tower of London, and they both had their heads chopped off.
Mhm.
As often these days happens, simple things remind me here of you. Some of them are forever in my mind. 6 pillows on our castle's private bed, an arbor rich with grapevines, the 2 of us together where yarrow blooms. Free at last within these walls, I confess these many moments where you are. These final times of quiet reflections are surely blessed with the many memories of our joys that fall like apples to the earth returning. Here in this stony room where I am waiting, glad to have you plummet through my thoughts again, smiling when I think about those pillows waiting there to gently cushion the falling of our heads.
wow.
Excellent phonetics, and I thought the Volta was brilliant. Very well thought out.
What was brilliant?
The Volta, very well thought out.
We've had some interesting subjects tonight, to say the least. We've covered a gamut. Kathy, are you ready?
Pardon?
Are you ready?
Yeah, this one I think is self-explanatory as I read it. It's called Outside In. My parents' bedroom had 2 doors. One opened into the hall. The other led to a short step down into a smaller room that wasn't really a room at all. I think I lost my place. Wasn't really a room at all. In truth, it was a part of the outside that Daddy brought in, a small section he then floored, walled up, and put a roof on. A narrow inverted L-shaped partition, its shorter end opened into the kitchen and created a perfect location for a pantry, only it was never a pantry. Instead, the odd outside-in area became my brother's room, a slim space, barely large enough to accommodate the twin bed he slept on and the tall white metal cabinet where Mom kept her sheets, pillowcases, towels, bathcloths, and such. His so-called room, with scarcely a step between the bed and the wall, framed the boundaries of the outside-in barracks of my brother's inside-out adolescence. At night, peering through the small window above his bed, that played-out little boy stood on tiptoes, hoping to see a shooting star. This was the same spot where he used to bury his head in his pillow, muffling sobs of rebellion, only to wake hours later to the all is right with the world smell of mother's biscuits, and at some point to puberty.
Wow. I can see that little room.
It was very small.
But it was private and it was his.
Yeah.
Daniel, ready for you.
Okay, this is A Vein of Flame.
A vein of flame.
Within an island's abdomen, a primal furnace makes a bolder blended peak. Its booming breaths and murmurs sink with inner motions of a scalding flow, a surge that shakes surrounding boundaries as it wells towards a basal brink. A streak of silver sprinkles spray into the air and falls in shrouds that drape a slope of blast-cast cracks with fleeting sheens. The outer crater glows, a rush of amber ripples crawls up from the roily depths and then descends on soils and greens. This swell pervades the tracts and trails and fosters fields of flames, while weightless masses soar out of the mount with graceful guise. A liquorish gush that cascades in reverse, it circulates and claims its space amidst the clouds, as light and dark contest the skies. The blackness ebbs, its waves are slowly passed, allowing rays of dawn to race through gapes to wake the plains, yet nothing shows but vestiges, a void of ash and dust that covers up a landscape's lasting scars and scarlet stains. Thank you.
Excuse me for asking, but that was about a volcano, wasn't it? And
Yes.
like Iceland or something like that.
Yeah.
I just thought it was, I'm following along and saying, yeah, that is about a volcano. And I was wondering and I was going to suggest that it might be a good idea to have something like a footnote at the beginning, one of those little things where it says on seeing a volcano in Iceland or in Hawaii or wherever it was, because it, at least that's a suggestion I have when you, now, of course, I think I told you all I do have an appendix in the back so that if I make a reference to something that is pretty obscure, people will know, or say this refers to my son who died and such or whatever. So it's just a thought.
Yeah, I'm grateful for that suggestion. If I put it in print, yeah, I should do that. You're right. Thank you.
Yeah, I know, because I quote the scripture sometimes in some of my poems, I'm sharing the truth, but sometimes truth doesn't want to be received when someone's believed something so long. And so, like you, Walker, I'm putting the scriptures at the bottom, and I do quote them at the bottom of my poems, so people can have an immediate reference and know this is not my ideas, this is where my ideas are coming from. And I think anything we can share with each other tonight like that, I mean, we're friends. That's what we're supposed to be doing here.
Well, when you use one of these things like Microsoft Word, they allow you to put in footnotes, and your footnotes can always be very tiny so they don't just detract from the way people look at the page. Now, I kind of prefer that thing about putting it at the back of the book and telling people right up front. I remember I read Clockwork Orange once, and I read the whole book before I realized there was a glossary in the back for all those Russian-based slang terms that the children were using. But so at the front of my book, I indicate that there will be an appendix for some of the stuff. Not everything is explained, but it's just a thought, everybody.
Well, it helps them to know what they're fixing to get into when they start reading it. I have one chapter where I give a warning. Don't even go to the next chapter if you're not ready to go there. Don't even read it,
Yeah.
Because I don't expect it. Well, this is called Figments of Imagination. Because like I said, you may think you see yourself in my poems. Figments of imagination. When you read of sinful women, sinful acts, sinful men, figments of imagination as ink flows from my pen. Readers, I do not mean myself or someone in your life, not your neighbor, nor your best friend, your husband, or your wife. Imagination runs amok, feeding on news each day. Life is filthier than fiction. What more is there to say? Chill of recognition feel when life seems to intersect? Unapologetic, if figments of pen and you have met. Okay.
Nice.
All righty, we're back. Stephen?
Okay. This one is going to require a footnote. I thought of this because of Walker's poem about England. There's a town called Woolpit in England where in the Middle Ages, two children with green skin emerged from a cave speaking a language that could not be understood. Now they're the mascots of the town, and they're on a wrought iron sign as you enter the village of Woolpit. So this is the green children of Woolpit. In the village of Woolpit in the county of Suffolk, in the time of the harvest on a day of good cheer, two children found wandering, skins green as young cabbage, were stopped by some villagers, and what did they hear? Zu Mariki Sadana, asked the girl. Ev Baragi Dekit, the boy did say. A woman asked, from where did you come? Show us the way. The children did nothing but still repeat a strange tongue, palms to their eyes to block out the sun. In the village they ate nothing, neither meat, porridge, nor bread, until in a thatched roof house, beans were shelled where they lay. Up jumped the girl who came running, and the boy raised up his head. They ate raw beans faster than the women could shell them that day. Taken by the local lord to his manor, the boy pined and faded. The young girl learned English, did not die like her sibling. Her story made a fabric spun out of fable. In a land with no sun, both tended sheep when sweet bells they heard ringing. They followed the sounds to a cave mouth and through the caverns to England. This story is written in the Historia Rerum Anglicarum, how the girl left the land of a green king to be subject of King Stephen. So this tale of orphans goes. Today, Woolpit Village has them as emblem.
Yeah,
Like a lovely little movie.
yeah,
Well, I mean, it's supposed to be a true story,
yeah.
and the village is very proud of it being part of its history.
I've never heard of that. Have y'all?
Mm-mm.
Well, we're getting an education tonight also, aren't we, friends?
Yes, we are.
I thought you brought that period of time to life beautifully, almost akin to cinematic scenes in the mind, even. So, bravo.
Yeah.
Thanks very much.
That was excellent. Excellent. Thank you. Okay, Walker.
This is one called The Adulteress.
Ooh.
And well, 30 years of marriage now undone, she marvels, having so long denied herself the touch of loving hands. Once hands brought forth her passions out on sun-swept fields where joyous cries she made as happy lovers pleased her. She sailed, she flew, she shared with them quite freely. Yet somehow in those distant times, marriage seemed a sure but narrow path that promised joys and plenty. So she took her husband's offer and stayed with him those 30 years. Ah, that now abandoned husband sits drinking in their empty house. The one once crowded with their children, with stuff, her mother's furnishings, her father's rifle from the war, his pistol in her closet. What is her husband thinking now? Does he recall his turning off the lights when she met with him for pleasure? Does he recall his preferences for silence from a woman who once enjoyed laughter in sunlight out on naked blankets? Did he not notice all those years her hopes for praise and kisses, for simple affection before and after? Or does he simply dwell on her defection, her turning from his idle hands that seldom brought flowers and little tokens for which a woman longs? Did he trail her neck with loving fingers when passing in the kitchen, touching her who bore his children, nursed him through his illnesses, and lay upon his bed those many years? Ah, that miser would not part with touches, with silver, or with gold, so little did he value the treasure he had married. Lucky, then, that God sent her an alchemist who changed her leaden heart to gold and saved her from that man. Lucky, too, that she was able to throw her window open and break those rusted bars and fetters. What blame, if any, shall we assign to each? What scriptures shall we quote, or warnings shall we give, we who live and move and have our being and then are gone?
He was a miser, and he lost. The lesson,
And this is actually some people I knew.
yeah,
And
yeah.
And it's sad.
It is very, very sad. It is very sad.
But at least she had found an alchemist, you know.
Okay, Kathy?
Okay, this one is, the title is Pendulum, and if you can see, the poem is written in the shape of a pendulum.
That is so interesting.
Okay. Somewhere, a clock has stopped. A pendulum has stilled, and silence reigns supreme. Yet in another place, a timepiece chimes, and life goes on undisturbed, minute to minute, day to day, year after year. Somewhere, an oblivious soul awakens, unaware that today it is he for whom the bell tolls. Greetings mingle with goodbyes, and destiny smiles, even as earth reclaims each tenuous loan of dust. Somewhere amid the inexorable endings, a red-faced baby cries and takes his first breath. Time steadily treads the ancient circle, and bright sun gives way to evening shade. Still, in the blackness of the darkest night, hope stirs anew, incarnate within all who dream and those who close their eyes in trust of tomorrow's light. It is the common nature of every living thing, the infinite cycle of perpetual design, persistently repeated over and over, cyclical light and shadow. Life has a rhythm, a tempo, a pace, and a beat. Its balance is found in time and space, in joy and pain, in give and take. The pendulum swings, the bell tolls, the circle is replete.
Yep, that pendulum swung. Okay, we're getting close to 9 o'clock. I think Daniel will have time for yours, and I think mine, and then it may close it up. Daniel, are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, this is Hectic Havens. An arid highlands, time-worn slopes and humble views of meager plants and cacti framed by sandy hues are slowly wrested of their luster. Gloomy shades assume the heights, just as a gust-born sweep pervades a range to rouse a brown eruption and a stone-filled whirl. A torrid downpour follows and is blown across a foothill. Like a famished wave, it soars and swallows mountains to the tune of echoed roars. Between terrains of screes and clefts, a run of thrums above a gully, but under summits rumbles and becomes its own refrain. Amid the wails of gales, a herd of mustangs maneuvers through a hail-draped haze to gird a messa's sprawling contour, forming wanton lines against the tempest's might. The way ahead declines and veers, but still they stay. A sudden lightning flash is met with stop-start steps and nodding heads, while a lash from the onset of thunder entices their strides. They charge at the elements, flooding the sides of a canyon with blankets of eddying gold, enveloping every repellery fold. On reaching the passage's perilous heart, their gallops meander, unravel, then part, as far as the channels allow. They surpass a release from a shattering cliff, but a mass continues to plummet at startling speeds and blows up in clusters that cover the steeds. Despite being cumbered, they clamber, they wade, and outdo the tumult with battle cries, frayed. They rise in the race with the valleys collapse, emerging from surges and narrowing gaps, as they mirror the rage of the wind and the rains with the sways of their tails and the blaze of their manes. They turn into blurred undulations in streams, propelled by the pelts of their hooves on the seams, and gravels that crackle and crack where they swarm, the wide open spaces to see off the storm. The blasts are outlasted, the eddies abate above and below as the tremors grow late, and the skylines and ridges no longer ignite, a tenuous truce for a day and a night. The weary horses settle down, they strut around a playa, though the peaks are fractious and the ground is mostly barren, without fields or woods to roam. This setting is their solitude, a sanctity, a home. Thank you.
Wow.
Beautiful,
No.
beautiful animals. We've had animals, we've had trees, we've had dragonflies, it's been a wonderful night. I'm going to close it out, I think, with finally said it. Let's see. No, I'm going to close it out with in his eyes. We've got a few more minutes, but in his eyes, glad I said it because I could finally say goodbye. Hearing the words needed to say was painful, can't deny. I loved him once so very much. He meant the world to me. I know one day he'll soon become a shadowed memory. At first, I was so confident that he belonged to me. I was seeing an illusion, what I wanted to see. Look into his eyes, I saw how great our lives could be. But in his eyes, what didn't see were others, not just me.
Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh dear.
Oh dear.
Oh dear. Oh dear.
Have y'all had as much fun tonight as
Oh
I've
yeah, it was great. It was fantastic.
Well, we're going to be doing this again, and I would love to get to know all of you better. Now, you can contact me anytime, just make it after lunch. And if there's any way that we can help any of you or the Georgia Poetry Society, we're looking for people to take parts and get involved with the organization. And I'm sure you are all more professional poets than I am. And but I'm glad I stepped up, and I'm learning a lot, and I am just enjoying myself. And what's so great about this organization is if you step up to volunteer and do something, you're not going to be volunteering alone. We want to know what your interests are, where you think I would like to take some, Daniel, I would like to take some lessons from you on how to, critique or how to read. I'm not a very good reader unless I'm reading something silly. How do y'all feel about getting involved in supporting GPS?
I was a member at some point in the past, 10 years ago or something like that.
Well, can I assume you will be and welcome you back?
I think you can assume that. Yeah.
I assume that I would like to. And Stephen, we want to always see you. You support our open mic, and I appreciate your being here. Kathy, I think tonight was the first time I've met you, and I've really enjoyed having you with us tonight.
I think
How-
I've been a member ever since 2009 or something like that, or maybe even earlier. But I haven't been that active. My husband was very ill for a very long time, and I lost him in August.
Oh,
And
I
we've been married 62 years, and
What?
our
What, did you get
63rd
married at? You get married at the age of 2?
I think
I
you-
was 15 and he was 20, and that's another
Oh.
story.
Yep.
So
Well,
that was a long time ago, and it wasn't that unusual. We eloped, and I lied and said I was 18, and nobody asked any questions. But we were married 62 wonderful years. I had the best, and I miss him terribly. He
Well-
was my love, my life, my world. And now I still don't know how to live without him, but I'm trying.
Those are the words of that song, Can't Live Without You. Isn't that a beautiful? Well, we can only fill a gap in your day with sharing poetry with you and sharing our hearts and our soul with you. And
Well, writing is my passion. I'm a founding member of the Greensboro Writers Guild, and we've been meeting for 23 years. Our writing group in Greensboro here, in Greensboro, Georgia. And so I've got 20 chapters of a novel going. And so I'm trying to get back into those things that the last couple of years I've had to just kind of drop because he
Right.
was so ill. But it's a very lonely life for me right now. So I'm trying to live. So this was nice tonight. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
well, I really want to welcome you to join us next. No, we won't do it next Tuesday because it's for Thanksgiving. But there's meetings during the week, that we meet where we learn things, and so you won't be lonely if you get involved with that. And I would love to hear more of your poems. Just me and you chatting. You guys probably have your own way of chatting together too, but
my life is very jumbled right now, and I do have 2 wonderful children. I have 4 grown grandsons and 2 great grandchildren. So I have a very full life. I don't have time for everything I want to do,
right.
and I'm just trying to stay busy.
Well, please come back and join us. Let's see, next month will be December, but we will be back in December. Anything anybody else would like to say about sharing tonight?
I just want to say it was delightful getting to hang out with you all, both enjoyable and enlightening. Thank you for having me.
Enjoyed having you. Well, let's sign off. Good night, everybody.
Good
And
night.
thank you again
Good
for
night,
being.
everybody.
Bye
Good
bye.
night.
Don't forget to sign up and join, Walker. I've already
Yes, ma'am.
you have.
Yes, ma'am.
Good night, y'all. Bye
Good
bye.
night.
Bye.